I have been living between two different worlds, Russia and Germany. Actually, there are some five surprising similarities that I want to talk about today, here from Bavaria, South Germany. And those similarities you can see better if you compare it to the United States, actually. And I also had experience of living there in the United States. When you just travel as a tourist, it's a completely different thing. You don't get the whole thing. But when you are like really living at a place much longer, like months or years, and coming in again and again, then you really notice. So the first thing I want to say is that both Russians and Germans are pretty much reserved when it comes to social interactions. They don't smile that much, compared to Americans, basically. Yeah? When you're in the United States, it's totally normal. And here, like in Germany, it's different. People smile, and in Russia also. Yeah? So smiling mostly belongs to the like genuine, deeper connections. Yeah, when you really know somebody, when you really mean it. And the funny thing is that when Germans come to Russia, they also feel a little bit like Russians don't smile that much. But at the same time, compared to Americans coming to Germany, it also feels like everybody is so serious, not smiling. And especially in Soviet Union, there was this not smiling attitude and being kind of looking sad. It's so smiling belongs to business etiquette. If you want to sell something, you smile to the customer. It's kind of belongs, but also not too much. And in Germany, the same. It's not like they smile and you get the best service or something. Here, it's more like in Germany and Russia, you can say hello if you're in the woods. It's funny that the people are more open to each other, more polite when they're in nature. Yeah? So if you're in the woods, it's totally okay to say hello, to smile. But in the States, the smile is kind of like a part of it all. Yeah, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, it's not good or bad. It's just different, and there can be, of course, a lot of misunderstandings because as an American going to Germany or Russia and smiling at strangers, you will feel very awkward, and people will also look at you like, "What do you want?" Like, "Why are you smiling? I don't know you." Another thing which is very similar between Germany and Russia, and this is just my experience, you might live in the country where you have a similar thing, is the value of general, broad higher education. This you can see very well when you compare it to America, where it's a lot business oriented. And like in America, you study to perform some job afterwards. Yeah, this is like you specialize very early. You don't have so much broad education, which you will probably not use in your job. Whereas in Germany and in Russia, you have more, there's like mathematics and literature and just, I don't know, geography, everything, and philosophy, and it's just this idea that it's nice to have good education. Yeah? It's good to be an educated person. And this idea is quite different to America. When I was in the States, I noticed this very, very early, that it's all about performing a job. And that's why Americans are also so good in, when it comes to business. Americans are very efficient and everything. Yeah? So, but sometimes maybe it feels like a little bit of lack of this general knowledge that in other countries like Germany and Russia you have a lot. I think also nowadays, when in the age of AI, when you don't know actually which jobs are left in a few decades or in a few years, I mean, not decades, but a few years also, you have no idea. So I think this general education is actually a good way of thinking. I mean, for Americans, it's a bit crazy because it's so expensive, the education. Yeah, it's also different to other countries like Russia or Europe and like Germany also, where education is much more available. And there are a lot of programs also like supported by the government, by the state. So this is very, very interesting just for people who think about education but don't know what to study. Just, get general education, but don't pay too much money for it. If maybe you can also study abroad, consider that. Yeah, higher education is the topic nowadays, especially I think in the States. It's like you pay so much money and learn to perform a skill and you don't even know if you are going to get a job. Yeah. But general education, we as human beings, we really need to keep our intelligence, even if we can ask, a robot to do everything for us. But I would suggest that we stay human, that we keep our, skills and intelligence. And again, this difference is interesting, and it's not good or bad, it's just one. If you want to be better at your job, you have to specialize much more. If you have to be just generally educated, then you have to go for broader things. Maybe a balance is a good trick here. But definitely you feel this difference in the approach in general when you compare to the States, and this similarity when you think about Russia and Germany when it comes to this also. The third thing I want to mention is the language depth. When you take German or Russian, those languages are very precise in describing, deep philosophical meaning. And if you compare it to English, for example, English is much more compact. You don't go into detail compared to German or Russian. If you translate from English into Russian or German, you actually have a longer text, like 1.5 longer. Not twice, not 3 times, but just 1.5. But this is already a lot. You feel the difference. So the similarity between German and Russian, it's really 1.5 more words, compared to English. And then you go into depth. I really love German language. I speak English better than German, but my German is quite good as well. And Russian is my native, yeah. And it's both. It's quite amazing. The good thing about English, though, is that you can easily do the small talk. And if you don't want to talk, about things, you could just say something and it's still a conversation and it's still polite. Whereas in German or in Russian, you have to explain much more. You have to go into depth. You have to, dig the meaning. For example, in English, if somebody asks you something, you can say, "Oh, it depends." And this "it depends" is already a good answer, yeah? Whereas in Russian or in German, you have to explain on what this depends. Like it depends on time, if I'd have time, it depends on my job situation or whatever, my health. You have to explain, and go deeper and not so much on the surface. So again, English is very good for small talk and not explaining things when you don't want to. But if you want to really go deeper into the meaning, sometimes when you speak German and Russian, it just comes automatically that you go into deeper conversations. Yeah? It's just the language supports this very much. But I also love English. I love all of those 3 languages I speak. Other languages I don't know because I don't speak them. You tell me your experience. How's it for you if you speak a few languages? Yeah, and I think those similarities between German and Russian is quite significant. That's why when you read German or Russian literature in the native language, it's like it's really going deep, you know, and unpacking meanings so and on a different level. Really nice. But I really appreciate, guys, that I can speak English to you because everybody speaks English, and this is like English has its value. Yeah? It's international. Everybody understands it. It's easy to learn. It's much. The grammar is easier, and that's why it makes us. It brings us all together. It's make us be able to communicate, and I mean this great advantage of English that it's just so easy. And Russian grammar or German grammar, I mean that. But there are other languages. Like I heard one of the most difficult, I guess, is Hungarian. People move to Hungary and they give up trying to learn the language. But okay, today we don't talk about things outside of my experience, so I'm just saying what I have experienced. And next point, actually, for me, I want to mention is the attitude towards food and fast food. I think Russians and Germans are very similar in the way we eat. So we cook a lot at home. We don't eat so much fast food. There is this healthy approach, even though the history of this is different for us, but the result is the same, and they look more or less healthy in general. And when I think about the United States and my experience there are like a lot of people who are, in obese. Yeah, it's an issue in the United States. It's a big issue, not only in the United States, but compared to United States, like Russians and Germans are very have much more healthy habits around food. And I just wanted to mention it because it's a big thing, and for everywhere. And maybe some of my videos I should tell you the story about me going to the States and getting kilos, getting extra weight, extra pounds, and how it went for me. And for me, it was like a surprise because I was always very slim. But then I went to the States and things started to change very fast. And I didn't think about it because I was just eating like everybody else. And then getting really extra pounds and getting some unhealthy issues, related to this. Then when I came back, all those issues started to disappear quite fast, And I related to food because the food was completely different. But yeah, I can tell you more in another video, like how I went with this. But my experience in Germany is more or less like in Russia, It's healthy balance. Of course, there is fast food, but it's not like people are eating it all the time. And they don't eat that much. When they go out, they don't go that much for fast food compared to how it is in the States and how it's like also in schools, The food they sell in schools, this food they provide in schools. Already there, you can see quite a difference compared to the States. And so Germany and Russia are more or less the same when it comes to this. The food habits, the obesity, or neither Russia nor Germany is on the list of the most obese countries, not at all. Yeah, we are quite general, like average and completely normal on this, which is a good thing. Yeah. And America is an issue. Yeah, it's an issue. Okay, I'll talk more about it in another video. It's just one of the issues I wanted to mention because just to think about it, yeah, just to think about this. It's a big part of our life, because it's health. It's health. it's mainly health and how long we live and what is our life quality. It's very important. So I wanted to mention it as a similarity between Russians and Germans. Another similarity between Russia and Germany is state-supported social care, like health care, child care, and so on. And this is quite different when you compare it with the United States, where everything is more or less private. You pay much more, but I guess you also get a better quality. So in this case, it's not better or worse, it's just different. Whereas in Russia and in Germany, you have this provided by the states, but sometimes you have to wait too long, or the quality is not so good. I would say to wait too long belongs to Germany, and quality not so good happens also in Russia sometimes when it comes to those things. But you get the support, and that's why everybody gets the support, and you have less than people who cannot like arrange basic things. Actually, in Russia, you can like call an ambulance, and it's covered by the government, by the state. But the social support, you can call an ambulance. The thing is, the ambulance doesn't come on time always, yeah, and it might take a while. It depends on how urgent your issue, but you can call, and it will be covered for everybody. But the quality, yes, the health system in Russia needs to be still improved. In Germany, also, this you have to wait months for meeting a doctor or something. So it's an issue, it's an issue, but it's provided by the states in both Germany and Russia, and it has this advantages as well. In the states, you get everything is more like modern and provided to people faster, and everything is there, also the childcare. But again, it costs money. So this is the similarity between Russia and Germany again. So it looks like we, like Russians and Germans, sometimes, the world tries to say we're different, but I tell you, there are a lot of things about us which are very common and similar. And me here, like visiting Germany and being in Russia every year, for me, it's interesting to notice those similarities. Maybe we are not that different, But of course, there are also differences. And maybe I should make a video about that as well. I hope you enjoyed that one. And if you like this channel where, we talk about freedom, about staying calm, staying clear in the modern world, fast changing, and just connecting to yourself and others, trying to understand other people and stay human. I value human contact a lot. I have friends, I visit them, but I also enjoy, this connection we have online as well, even though it's more superficial, but still it's a human being. And on this channel, you will not find any artificial, person or animal or whatever, or artificial nature, artificial tree, you will not find. All pure, authentic, as it is. Now, again, South Germany, Bavaria, beautiful Alps. I just love this area so much. I hope you have a great day, and see you in the next video.